an absolute shocker, an absolute college football groundbreaking watershed, um, outrageous moment from probably the most insane college football offseason we've had yet. And LSU is right in the eye of the storm of it. Lane Kiffin is, of course, right in the eye of the storm of it. And it's really getting crazy out there. Legal action is being threatened over this whole thing. This is a this is a very crazy situation. The Demond Williams situation, where you got Sam Leavitt visiting LSU, multi-day visit, as we had reported the other day, and then he goes, and we had just said this in the show the other, you know, just hours ago when we were ending the show, that Sam Leavitt was at the basketball game hanging out with Lane Kiffin with Whit Weeks and Eugene Eugene Wilson from the Florida receiver, hanging out there courtside at the game, and they're all hanging out there, right? And my God, this is just crazy. This is just insane. Um, when they're there hanging out, news drops out of Washington that stuns the college football world, in a decision that's going to have reverberations in the sport and might be kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back as far as just how far are we going to let this craziness go. Um, Demond Williams, 4 days after signing a $4 million contract to return to Washington, the whole thing's announced. It's a big deal. He's coming back. He changes course completely. Changes course completely. He posts and says that he's going to be leaving Washington, entering the portal, and no one saw that coming. ESPN reports 4 days ago, he signed, everything's announced, and then he announces everything, Hayes Fawcett, the whole deal, right? The photo edit, all that stuff. And then he's in the portal 4 days later. But he signed some papers, right? You can't do this, can you? Well, is Washington going to force their quarterback to stay? A quarterback who doesn't want to stay at Washington? Are they going to force him to stay and play? Is he going to have to owe them $4 million that they haven't paid him yet? Right? I assume they haven't paid. So what's going to happen here is Demond Williams is going to be able to leave and be able to go to his next school, and Washington are going to be in a really shitty position. I feel bad for them, but I think it's extra crazy that Lane Kiffin has a quarterback they've invested days towards on campus, Sam Leavitt, there taking the pitches, taking in the campus, really seeing what the whole picture of being a Tiger is about. And maybe Kiffin had vibes of, this isn't working. And maybe they had vibes of, we don't really think you would fit here. We don't really think you're kind of feeling the vibe here. I mean, from what I've heard, it was okay. Yeah, we're going to talk numbers and things like that. But there was such a mercenary vibe about the whole thing that it's just like, get a top quarterback, and Sam Leavitt's a top quarterback, and I'm not sure about fit though. And the whole time we have told you, our daily listeners, readers, people who are on LSUODYSSEY.com, the subscribers will tell you, we have said they are going for multiple quarterbacks, obviously. And it just so happens that as this game is going on, the news breaks Damon Williams has made this crazy decision. And guess who? Guess who already has recruited Damon Williams and actually earned his commitment at one point at Ole Miss before he flipped? Guess who that might be? The man sitting right next to Sam Leavitt, our head coach, LSU's head coach, Lane Kiffin. And so immediately, and there's some proof here where Kiffin may have been on the phone with Damon Williams right after this thing. And here's the thing: Damon Williams had a no contact tag on his transfer, so teams can't contact him. Only he can initiate the conversation. So I think what that meant was he had a plan, and he kind of had an idea. The second Trinidad Chambliss stays at Ole Miss, Kiffin is maybe thinking, you think maybe Damon would come to LSU? And how would he facilitate that? How would that happen? Because, I mean, Ole Miss are already, accusing Kiffin and LSU of alleged tampering. What that means, I'm sure they're going to say that he was tampering with Chambliss and Lacey, but how they can prove that, where the proof is of that, I mean, we need to see that for real. You can't just levy such a heavy accusation. You got to have some type of proof. But now you've got a very strange situation where Damon Williams contacts LSU and is already in Baton Rouge. Charlie Weiss Jr. working overtime, taking who knows how many private jet flights, which, I mean, if you're going to be taking that many planes, I mean, you probably feel like nothing. So Damon Williams in Baton Rouge, Sam Leavitt in Baton Rouge, and Sam Leavitt has a deadline of tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Central time. I believe the time I was told was, let me check. Was that 10 a.m. or was that 11 a.m.? It says 10 to 11 a.m. So I think this person is saying that maybe there isn't like a definitive time, but within that time zone, you've got to give us an answer. Maybe that's when he's scheduled to leave campus. But Sam Leavitt is there, but now so is Damon Williams. And it's very intriguing to me because Damon Williams, he had a few clunkers against the best competition, but he shows a lot of promise. A lot of promise. He's the type of dual threat quarterback that I'm heavily in favor of for LSU this next season. Sam Leavitt didn't really, I gotta be honest, he didn't really do it for me. He didn't really light my fire. But Damon Williams is an intriguing talent. And I think he's the type of quarterback that Kiffin has wanted at the start of this portal cycle anyway to begin with. Let's see here. So in 2024 at Washington, Damon Williams, 8 touchdowns, 83 carries, 83 carries. Wow. And then in 2025, you see a big jump. 3,000 yards passing, 25 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 143 carries, 611 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdowns. And we know what Kiffin can do with a quarterback, especially dual threat quarterback. And for me, that's what LSU's offense is screaming out for. And Sam Leavitt can do it. Sam Leavitt, he's a damn good quarterback. Is he right for LSU? The environment? Is he right? Is he the right fit for Kiffin's offense? Is there a personality meshing there? We'll see. Could Sam Leavitt and Damon Williams both both sign on the dotted line for LSU? Could LSU get both of these quarterbacks? Like, I'd be shocked. I mean, that could be possible. CBD says Elaine looking at him like, get off the damn phone. I mean, that's the thing, man. Is there could have been some apathy there from Leavitt, kind of just like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this other place, and yeah, it's just another visit. And Kiffin is kind of like, screw this, man. Like, oh wow, and now Damon is in the portal, and then hey, Damon's calling for you, like, and then he gets on the phone, but getting, I think that's kind of petty of Kiffin, getting on the phone with him, Damon Williams, while he's right next to Leavitt. But I guess it's his way of revenge to kind of be like, you were on your phone, probably texting God knows who about going wherever else yourself, and then I get a call, and here's me doing the same thing you're doing, like, back at you, bro. Like, so I get where Kiffin is coming from on that, if that's what was going on. But such a wild situation, and now you do have legal action being threatened by Washington, and the Big Ten's getting involved and all this, and it's like, it's all a bunch of bluster. Xavier Lucas is kind of the precedent case. When he was leaving from Wisconsin to Miami, Wisconsin was saying, "Damn it, we're gonna enforce the contract that you signed. You're not leaving without playing it down. You're gonna fulfill your contract. You're not going to Miami." And in the end, it did not matter. And Xavier Lucas playing for Miami, and you couldn't keep him off the field. No issues there. Couldn't force him to fulfill the contract. Nothing like that. So we've been shown the precedent. The NCAA is anonymous. They're broken. They're faceless. They're spineless. They're only there for like the pomp and circumstance of the sport, and just to, like, hey, wag our fingers. They're like, They're like the royal family. There's like kind of like an emblem of law and order that is probably not even in existence. It's kind of an illusion. And so at the end of the day, I can't see this being a big case outside of a few weeks and a few 100 billion stories of, oh my God, the insanity of college football. And then we remind ourselves that we're keeping this thing going. And it seems like we like this. We don't like when it happens to us, and we hate the ways of college football are, when it goes against us. We hate, the kids have too much crazy power now, or whatever the type of kind of old school narrative is with that, with NILs ruining the sport. But when it goes in our favor, like this situation, it's suck on that, Washington. Like it's just funny to me how that is. But I think something's gotta happen here next season. You got to get Saban in as commissioner, and you got to get a handle on college football. You got to have some type of regulations. If a contract is not binding, if that's the baseline, if that's the baseline establishment, I want Damon Williams at LSU. I have no problems there. I'm not saying anything about anything. He's taking advantage of a broken system, just like everyone is, right? But I'm saying if a contract at the baseline of everything is not binding, then what are we doing here? Everyone could just be, nope, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go coach this team halfway through the season. Oh, well, you have 2 years on the contract and we don't want, oh, no, I'm going. We'll fight it out in court, but I'm gonna be coaching this team at the same time against you. Like, it's just the lack of structure, the greed of the structure of this sport, of the setup of this sport, has enabled this situation to happen, where the lack of foresight in the calendar, the lack of forethought in anything, it's appalling, and it's created these situations. And I don't blame anyone in this situation. If I was Damon Williams, I would also want to leave Washington and go to LSU. Many are saying that Damon Williams' $4 million that he was contracted and signed um, with Washington, that LSU has upped that offer to $6 million. I haven't had that confirmed yet, but that is the rumored price. $6 million from LSU for Damon Williams. Now, does LSU end up with both quarterbacks here? You get Leavitt and you get Damon Williams. Can Kiffin sell that? I mean, if Kiffin pulls that off, you get two of the most elite prospects in the quarterback class pretty much on campus at the same time, like, and you sell the vision, and you're able to fill up the quarterback room, not just with like a top guy and then some bodies. You actually get two worthy potential starters in there. I mean, that would be insane. And I would not put it past Lane Kiffin to be able to pull that off. Here's the thing though, years of eligibility, those type of things may work against that being even a possible conversation. I man, I can't see it being both. Can't see it being both. That would be that would kind of go, it would fly in the face of kind of everything that's been happening in this situation. Everyone embracing the villain mentality. I just I have a very bruising feeling, a very pickled vibe that this is going to be Damon Williams' team in 2026. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not saying this for sure. I'm definitely not reporting it. But from everything I've reported, everything others have reported that I've seen, everything that just genuine common sense information you can gather, and you look at the situation, it appears that Damon Williams is probably going to be the favorite of the two quarterbacks here for LSU. And here's the thing, this is going to be a situation that happens very quickly. Whether Damon Williams comes to LSU, Sam Leavitt leaves, Sam Leavitt stays, like whatever happens, whatever combination works out here, it's going to happen quick over the next 24 to 48 hours at the most. So buckle up, strap in. There's going to be a lot more of this to go in, and it's been a topsy-turvy of a situation because Damon Williams was not even in the portal when we last did the show. And then, bam, he hits the portal like literally the second we ended the show. And as this situation transpired and continued to kind of go in crazy different ways, and I was talking to some people kind of saying, like, this is insane. And then it kind of went from just that this is crazy and but to what's the nuts and bolts of this? What's the potential here? Can LSU? Oh wow, he's actually going to come to LSU. He's actually going to be in Baton Rouge tonight. And then there was a guy on Twitter, All Things Go, who's an absolute badass. He was posting photos from outside LSU ops. He was hanging out, and there was a ton of SUV, the black SUVs. There's a ton of action. A big time player was transported from the airport to LSU ops, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and whoever it was, they carefully obstructed view, any view of who the player was, and there was big applause, big hey, what's up? And I'm sure then the player, goes back to the Lod Cook Hotel to go sleep after crazy travel, and then tomorrow they'll start all the whole process, right? With Sam Leavitt waking up and wondering if he's going to sign for LSU or if he's going to leave without committing. And it's a very strange situation here. And you're going to find out likely who LSU's starting quarterback is for 2026 within the next 24 to 48 hours. It seems like Kiffin is really dead set on if it's not going to be Sam Leavitt, it's going to be Damon Williams. And as I'm leaning heavily to Damon Williams at this point, not just because that's the quarterback I would go after the most, but because it seems like that's who the staff want the most. And it seems like Leavitt, after what has happened tonight, I just can't see Leavitt coming back after that. This was interesting. You had Chase Daniel, a former Missouri legend quarterback, tweet this out. He says, so one of the better quarterbacks in the portal, Damon Williams, committed back to Washington a few days ago and signed papers for $4 million a year. Then tonight announces he's entering the portal. LSU is considered the landing spot for $6 million a year. And this is all going on while stud quarterback Sam Leavitt is at a basketball game with Lane Kiffin. College football is broken. And he tweets Glenn West's amazing photo there of what was going on, because you got Kiffin on the phone right there. You got Sam Leavitt, you got Eugene Wilson, and then you got Whit Weeks all sitting there. Knox Kiffin is there, Lane's son. This is a situation where Kiffin's going to look like the bad guy no matter what here, but did Kiffin do Sam Leavitt dirty here? It'll be interesting to hear how sycophants on either side, haters of Kiffin, people who love Kiffin, will defend this or attack it. Um, I'm just going to call it as I see it, and whether that helps produce the situation that helps LSU in the long run by getting Damon Williams on campus as our next quarterback or not. I I don't want to see us LSU taking part in this type of stuff too much. But when you're LSU, when you're one of these top schools, you're gonna be in these type of fights. You're gonna be rolling in the mud. It's gonna happen. And it's just shocking. It's just shocking that everything has devolved into a festival of pure mercenary greed from the players to some of the coaches, and a lot of snaky behind the scenes stuff going on. Um, Sam Leavitt's probably on the phone right there with someone from another team, and Kiffin saw that and was like, all right, we're going to go get Damon Williams then. So LSU are going to come into a lot of criticism here. Lane Kiffin's going to come under fire massively. And no one's going to question whether Sam Leavitt was dipping his toes in other places. If Sam Leavitt was, humming, hawing, signing with LSU, or if he was just staring at his phone the whole time. No one's going to ask that question, but they're definitely going to condemn Lane Kiffin no matter what. I think our earlier explanation is probably exactly what happened, where Leavitt disinterested, acting weird. Kiffin gets a hold of someone gets a hold of Kiffin and says Damon Williams is trying to call you, and those two have a conversation, and he does it right there in the moment with Leavitt right next to him to kind of get his revenge. I don't know. Probably not. I doubt Kiffin would do that. It would be almost like a scene in the Godfather Part 2 or something, where it's like, you did this to our family, Fredo. And he's like, I don't know. It's just there's just a mafioso vibe to it. I love it. I love it. College football is getting crazier and wilder by the moment, and it just does not let up. It just does not let up. This has been, without question, the most delirious transfer portal month I've ever witnessed. Coaching carousel as well. So we'll be keeping you posted as things are going to just keep happening throughout this morning here. And so you're going to really want to stay glued to things this morning, because there's going to be resolution and conclusion with these two quarterbacks in the next 24 to 48 hours. Likely even sooner than that. College football, baby. Takes your breath away in more ways than one. Guys, have a good rest of your night. This is the middle of the night edition of LSU Odyssey Live. Thank you all for tuning in. A Damon Williams shocker. Is Damon Williams about to be LSU's next starting quarterback? Or will Sam Leavitt sign the papers before the deadline in the morning? Is Sam Leavitt going to leave LSU feeling like jilted? Could legal ramifications force Damon Williams to to go back to Washington, we highly doubt that. But point is, there's a lot going on, and we're going to be here to try and cover it all for you. Everybody, thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your morning slash night. I guess it'd be early morning here now since it's yeah we're getting into those early morning hours, not middle of the night as much as it was a bit ago. Everybody, keep kicking ass and rocking in the free world. Go Tigers, baby.